All right, listeners, ready for today's deep dive?
Always?
Excellent, because we're heading to the moon.
Sounds exciting.
It is. We'll be comparing how India and Japan are exploring the moon.
Two of the biggest players in space right now.
Exactly. We're talking Chandrayaan-3 from India.
And SLIM from Japan.
And get this.
What's that?
Japan's SLIM lander has a pretty cool nickname.
Oh, you tell?
Go with the Moon Sniper.
Moon Sniper. I like it already.
I know, right? It's all because of his pinpoint accuracy.
Pinpoint accuracy? Just how accurate are we talking?
Think smaller than a football field.
Seriously? That's impressive.
It really is. But before we get into that,
Okay.
let's set the stage.
You bet.
So what's really interesting here is how these two missions show us what different countries want to do in space.
Different priorities, different goals.
Right. India's Chandrayaan-3 is all about building on what they learned from Chandrayaan-2.
Chandrayaan-2. Ah, yes. That was so close to a perfect landing.
It was. This time they're determined to stick that soft landing.
Absolutely.
And then deploy a rover.
To really get a good look at the lunar surface.
It seems like India really wants to understand the moon completely.
Inside and out, from top to bottom.
Exactly. Now, how about Japan? Their SLIM mission has a different vibe, wouldn't you say?
Definitely. SLIM stands for Smart Lander for Investigating Moon.
Okay, smart lander.
But it's less about exploring everything.
And more about...
Proving they've mastered a key technology.
Which is...
Precision landing.
the Moon Sniper we talked about.
The one and only. The goal is to land within 100 meters of their target.
100 meters? That's amazing.
It is. It opens up so many possibilities for future missions.
So we could land right next to a specific crater, maybe.
Exactly. Or a unique rock formation.
Wow. So it's like a friendly competition?
Sort of. India's aiming for deep scientific knowledge.
And Japan's perfecting the landing that'll make future missions possible.
Precisely.
This is fascinating. What kind of tech are they using to pull this off?
Well, Chandrayaan-3 is packed with the latest and greatest.
Like what?
They've got advanced navigation and guidance systems, of course.
Makes sense. Gotta know where you're going.
Plus an autonomous rover.
Autonomous. So it can explore on its own.
To a certain extent, it's equipped to analyze the lunar surface in detail.
Cool.
And they've boosted their communication systems.
So they can send all that juicy data back home.
Precisely. All those lunar secrets.
It sounds like India's really putting their best minds on this.
They are. This mission shows how far Indian space technology has come.
Now, what about Japan? How are they getting that Moon Sniper accuracy?
SLIM is a marvel of engineering, truly.
Okay, I'm ready to be amazed.
They're using data from Japan's old lunar orbiter,
Selene. That rings a bell.
Also known as Kaguya.
Right. So they're using data from that mission for SLIM.
Exactly. It helps fine-tune their navigation.
Clever. But they can't be all, right?
Of course not. They've also got this incredible system.
What system? Tell me.
It's similar to facial recognition.
Wait, hold on. Facial recognition?
Yeah.
Like for identifying people?
The technology is similar.
But they're using it on the moon.
Exactly.
Okay. Seriously.
It helps the lander spot obstacles during its descent.
That's wild. So they're teaching a spacecraft to see the moon.
In a way, yes.
Our listeners have got to be loving this. Facial recognition on the moon. Unbelievable.
It is pretty remarkable.
Now, any other cool tech tricks you want to share?
Well, Japan's made a big deal about SLIM being lightweight.
Lightweight design. Why is that so important?
Well, for one, it keeps costs down.
Less weight, less fuel needed for launch.
You got it. And it could be a model for exploring the moon and other planets in the future.
I see. Keep things light and affordable so we can explore more.
Exactly. Makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. So, despite their different goals, both missions are shaping the future of space exploration.
They are indeed. They're part of a bigger conversation about what's possible.
But I bet it wasn't all smooth sailing, was it?
Space exploration. Easy. Never.
Any challenges you can tell us about?
You remember we mentioned SLIM's solar panel issue?
Oh yeah, right after it landed.
Exactly. Those panels weren't positioned right to get enough sunlight.
So they couldn't recharge. Uh-oh.
Yeah, it just shows how unpredictable space can be.
Imagine having to fix a solar panel millions of miles away.
Talk about stressful.
What happened? Did they manage to fix it?
Thankfully, yes.
Ew.
JAXA, Japan's space agency, figured out how to adjust the lander remotely.
Wow, talk about quick thinking.
So the panels could finally catch those sun rays.
That's fantastic. You really can't just call a repair person when you're on the moon.
Not quite.
It really shows the ingenuity and resourcefulness you need for space exploration.
It does. Both missions are pushing the boundaries, even with the bumps along the way.
Absolutely. And even though SLIM is mainly about demonstrating the tech,
It still has some scientific instruments on board.
so it's gathering data as well.
It is valuable data on the composition of the lunar surface.
That's amazing. Even a mission focused on technology is contributing to science.
Yeah. It shows how a focused mission like SLIM can still broaden our scientific understanding.
So SLIM is like a multitasker, proving new tech and doing science at the same time.
Exactly. It's gathering data on the lunar surface composition,
While Chandrayaan-3's rover is busy analyzing the lunar regolith.
the loose material that covers the moon's surface.
Right, the regolith.
Yeah.
What's Chandrayaan-3 looking for exactly?
They'll be analyzing its morphology, studying its structure, and digging into its mineralogy.
So what kinds of minerals it's made of?
Precisely. All to get a clearer picture of how the moon formed and how it's changed over time.
Sounds like we're about to get a ton of new information about the moon.
We are, but before we dive into those discoveries,
Okay.
let's zoom out for a second and think about the bigger picture.
I like it. What does the success of these missions tell us about the future of space exploration?
That's a great question, and one I think we should explore for the rest of our deep dive.
Well, listeners, you heard it here. Stay with us. Things are about to get really interesting.
Buckle up. Picking up where we left off, imagine pinpoint landing becomes totally normal.
Like launching a satellite.
Exactly. What could we do on the moon then?
It'd be a whole new ballgame. No more just landing in wide open spaces.
No more playing it safe.
Right. We could aim for the most interesting places,
The places that really get scientists excited.
even if they're surrounded by rough terrain,
Exactly.
like the lunar pole.
Oh, the poles. Scientists think there's water ice in those craters.
In the permanently shadowed ones.
Yeah, pinpoint landing is how we could get to it.
And if we can get to that ice,
Think about what that means.
it could be huge for humans on the moon.
Vital, even.
We're talking drinking water,
Of course.
oxygen,
Yep.
even rocket fuel.
All from that lunar ice.
Incredible.
And it's not just about what we could use.
There's the science, too.
Right. Pinpoint landing could revolutionize how much we understand the moon.
Give us a for instance.
Well, imagine landing right next to a lava tube.
Oh, what?
A tunnel formed by old volcanoes.
Wow, okay.
They could be perfect for moon bases.
Protect astronauts from radiation.
And meteoroids.
Exploring those hidden places would be amazing.
It would. And think about this.
Yeah.
If we can land anywhere we want, wouldn't lunar missions be cheaper?
I guess so.
If you know exactly where you're landing,
You can design smaller landers,
lighter too,
which means less fuel.
and cheaper launches.
Makes sense. SLIM's design is a good example.
It is a blueprint for lunar exploration that's easier to afford.
More sustainable, too.
Right. So SLIM isn't just about landing precisely,
It's about designing smarter missions.
more efficient, and ultimately more doable.
Yeah. So more countries and even private companies could explore the moon.
Exactly. The moon becomes a tested ground for things we could use on Mars.
Maybe even further out there.
Who knows? It feels like we're at the beginning of something big.
Like the moon's going to be our stepping stone.
To bolder space exploration.
I like the sound of that. Now, we've talked a lot about the technology.
We have.
Let's dive into some science.
Sounds good.
Chandrayaan-3's rover is all about analyzing the lunar regolith,
Like a robotic geologist.
digging into the moon's past, right?
Exactly. Uncovering clues about how it formed.
And how it's changed over time.
Billions of years of history.
That's amazing. We can learn so much from moon dust,
We can. And SLIM's contributing too.
even though it's mostly about the landing tech.
Even so, its instruments are gathering data about the lunar surface.
What kind of data?
Well, they're analyzing how much of each element is present,
Ooh.
which tells us about the types of rocks and how they formed.
So even with a focus on landing SLIMs, adding to our basic knowledge of the moon.
It is, and remember, that pinpoint landing is a huge breakthrough in itself.
It is.
It proves we can land spacecraft incredibly accurately now.
Which is huge for science and future human missions.
Right.
It really shows off what Japan can do in space.
It does.
But it's important to remember both missions are giving us a better understanding of the moon.
A global understanding.
Data that scientists all over the world can use.
It's a great example of international cooperation
Working together.
to learn more about space.
And that knowledge isn't just for scientists here on Earth.
Nope. It's directly relevant to future human missions.
Okay, so let's talk about that.
That sounds good.
How are Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM helping us get humans back to the moon?
Maybe even living there permanently.
Now that's a thought,
Well, Chandrayaan-3 is gathering data about things like water ice,
which we need to survive on the moon,
essential for life support.
and maybe even to make rocket fuel.
That's the information we need to plan moon bases.
So these missions are laying the groundwork.
For a future where humans could live and work on the moon,
It's almost hard to believe.
it is incredible.
And SLIM's pinpoint landing is another piece of the puzzle.
Absolutely.
Imagine landing a spacecraft with people on board,
Right near a lunar base.
or a spot with lots of resources.
So much safer and more efficient.
No more huge landing zones or tricky maneuvers.
And remember, SLIM's lightweight design, that could make it way cheaper to send humans and equipment to the moon.
Makes lunar exploration sustainable in the long run.
That's the goal.
It's like we're getting a sneak peek,
At a future lunar outpost.
built on pinpoint landings
Efficient design.
and using what the moon already has.
It's a vision worth working towards.
It is, but let's be realistic.
Okay.
Building a lunar base is a massive project.
Huge. With tons of challenges.
Right, just surviving on the moon is tough.
Oh yeah, the moon is a harsh place.
No air to breathe.
Constant radiation bombardment.
Micrometeoroids too.
And those temperature swings,
From scorching hot to freezing cold.
it's brutal.
So keeping people and equipment safe is a big deal.
It's a major challenge.
And not to mention communication.
Ah, yes, communication.
The moon's about 238,900 miles from Earth.
On average, of course.
Right, on average. But that means
Big time delays.
for sending and receiving signals.
Which makes it tough to control things in real time.
Okay, I see the problem.
So we need smarter systems.
Systems that can think for themselves
Autonomous systems that make decisions on their own.
without humans having to step in all the time.
That's where things like artificial intelligence come in.
AI. I feel like AI is everywhere these days.
It's changing how we explore space, for sure.
So how are AI and machine learning used in space?
Well, they're becoming essential for all sorts of tasks.
It's fun.
Navigation, data analysis, even making decisions during missions.
Wow, okay. And we're already seeing them in action.
In both Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM.
Really? Give us some examples.
Sure. Chandrayaan-3's rover uses AI to navigate,
Makes it
to find interesting things.
and to pick the best spots for collecting samples.
It's like having a robot geologist right there on the moon.
That's awesome.
Mm.
AI is helping us explore smarter.
It is.
What about SLIM? How does it use AI?
AI was crucial for that pinpoint landing.
Oh, yeah. Tell me more.
It analyzed images of the lunar surface during descent
To what end?
to find potential hazards
So we could avoid them?
and adjust its trajectory accordingly.
Wow. AI is playing a big role in these missions.
A key role in both the science and the technology.
And AI is only getting better.
Right. Which means
We can explore even further into space.
send spacecraft to more distant and challenging places.
Maybe even Mars or Europa.
Europa, with its ocean hiding under the ice.
Exactly. That's where we might find life beyond Earth.
It's a pretty exciting thought.
It is. It feels like the future of space exploration is autonomous.
More and more reliant on AI.
I can't wait to see what we discover.
Me too.
Yeah.
Now, back to the moon.
Okay.
What are these missions telling us about the possibility of humans living there?
Long term, you mean?
Exactly. Chandrayaan-3's search for water ice is a good example.
That data will tell us if we can actually use lunar resources.
For life support and even fuel production.
And SLIM proves we can land things precisely.
Payloads and eventually humans.
So we're not just talking about finding resources.
It's about getting to them.
Safely and efficiently.
Right. And remember, SLIM's lightweight design?
It could make lunar missions cheaper.
Much more affordable.
Which means more frequent missions.
And more ambitious goals.
It's amazing to see what India and Japan are doing,
They're really leading the way.
especially for emerging spacefaring nations.
They are indeed.
But establishing a human presence on the moon will take time.
It's a long game.
We're still learning,
Developing new technologies.
figuring out how to live and work in such a harsh environment,
It's a journey with a lot of challenges.
but also incredible potential.
Exactly. So while we dream of lunar bases and settlements,
We need to stay grounded.
appreciate what we're learning right now.
From missions like Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM.
Absolutely. Let's talk about some of those scientific discoveries.
Okay, I'm ready.
Chandrayaan-3's rover is already revealing a lot about the moon's geology.
More than we expected.
It's painting a more complex picture.
So what are they finding in the regolith?
A wider variety of minerals than we thought,
And different kinds of rocks
which suggests a more dynamic geological history.
than we previously imagined.
For example, they found evidence of volcanic activity
Okay.
that happened much later than we thought.
So our old theories about the moon Might be wrong.
It's possible. We might need to rewrite the textbooks.
Exciting stuff. What about SLIM?
It's found evidence of water molecules in the lunar soil,
Water molecules. Wow.
adding to the evidence that water ice exists.
Amazing.
Huh.
But SLIM isn't just finding evidence,
It's helping us understand how that water is distributed.
which is important if we want to use lunar resources.
Exactly. But these missions are doing more than just geology and resources.
What else?
They're providing data about the moon's magnetic field,
Oh, right, the magnetic field.
much weaker than Earth's.
That's still important.
It helps protect the moon from the solar wind.
And cosmic radiation.
Both bad news for humans.
So we need to understand it.
And Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM are giving us the data.
It's amazing how much we're still learning about the moon.
Our closest neighbor in space.
And we're using cutting-edge technology to do it.
We are.
Speaking of technology, let's talk about some of the advancements.
Beyond just pinpoint landing.
What else have we learned?
Well, both missions have shown incredible progress.
In what areas?
Autonomous navigation and hazard avoidance systems,
The things you need to operate in space.
especially in the challenging lunar environment.
How are these systems different from the old ones?
Well, in the past, lunar landers needed instructions from Earth.
To navigate.
But Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM are more independent,
They can make decisions on their own?
based on what their sensors tell them.
And AI algorithms?
They can react to changing conditions.
Without waiting for instruction.
Exactly. And these advancements are relevant to other missions, too.
Not just the moon.
Think about Mars,
Or your rover.
sending probes to those places,
Relying on AI to navigate.
and make decisions millions of miles away.
It's amazing. It feels like science fiction coming to life.
It does. And Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM are showing us what's possible.
They're pioneers.
They are.
And they're not just about technology. They're showcasing what emerging spacefaring nations can do.
Like India and Japan.
They're proving they can play a major role in space exploration.
Absolutely. And it's a good sign.
How so?
It shows that space exploration is becoming more global
More and more countries are getting involved.
and collaborating.
That's great. We need to work together if we want to explore space.
Absolutely. But let's not forget that space exploration is about more than just technology.
It's about the human spirit,
Our ingenuity, our perseverance.
our willingness to take on huge challenges.
Exactly. So, what have we learned from Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM so far?
Good question.
Well, they've shown us how important perseverance is.
Never giving up.
And adaptability.
Being able to change plans when things go wrong.
SLIM's solar panel problem is a perfect example.
Things don't always go according to plan.
You need to be able to solve problems millions of miles away.
It's a good reminder that space is unforgiving.
You always need a backup plan.
Or a backup for your backup plan.
Exactly. These missions have also shown the importance of collaboration.
Working together.
Scientists from all over the world are analyzing the data,
Sharing their knowledge.
and everyone benefits.
It's proof that space exploration can bring people together.
It can. We're all on this journey together.
Journey to understand the universe.
And our place in it.
That's a beautiful thought.
And these missions have also shown how fast technology is advancing.
New breakthroughs all the time.
In navigation, AI, spacecraft design.
It's a really exciting time to be following space exploration.
It is.
Yes.
And Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM are right at the forefront.
Leading the way.
Exactly.
But as we celebrate these achievements,
Yes,
we need to remember that there are still a lot of problems here on Earth.
that's true.
Climate change, poverty, conflicts.
We can't ignore those problems.
So it's natural to ask, why are we spending money on space?
When there's so much to fix here.
It's a valid question.
It is.
But I think space exploration isn't just about escaping Earth's problems.
Well, what is it about then?
It's about finding solutions.
Solutions that could benefit everyone.
Think about all the technologies that came from space exploration.
Like,
GPS, satellite communication, medical imaging.
all those things were developed for space.
But now they make our lives better here on Earth.
It's amazing how those innovations find their way back down to us.
It is. And it's not just about the practical stuff.
There's more.
Space exploration inspires us.
It does.
It makes us think bigger, push the boundaries, find solutions to impossible problems.
That spirit of innovation is something we need here on Earth, too.
Exactly. We need that spirit to tackle our challenges.
And space exploration gives us a new perspective on our planet.
How so?
When you see Earth from space,
A tiny blue marble in the vastness of space.
it makes you realize how interconnected we all are.
And how important it is to protect our home.
It's a powerful image.
that can inspire us to be better stewards of our planet.
It can, and it also reminds us that we are all part of something much bigger than ourselves. Space exploration is about our desire to explore and understand the universe.
Well said.
It's a testament to human ingenuity.
Now, before we get too lost in the stars,
Okay,
let's bring it back down to Earth.
sounds good.
We've talked a lot about the missions,
The technology, the science, the big picture.
but I want to end on a more personal note.
All right,
What does it mean to be a space explorer today?
that's a great question.
What qualities do you need?
Well, I think the most important one is curiosity.
That desire to learn and explore,
That thirst for knowledge.
to understand the unknown.
Exactly. But a good space explorer also needs to be adaptable.
Things change quickly in space.
You need to be able to think on your feet
Solve problems creatively.
and adjust to unexpected challenges.
The space is full of surprises.
You need to be able to roll with the punches.
Adaptability is key.
It is, especially when you're millions of miles from home.
And what about resilience?
Oh, that's crucial too,
Space exploration is tough.
both physically and mentally.
You need to be able to handle setbacks
Never give up,
and believe in the mission.
even when things get tough.
It's about having grit and determination.
Exactly. And a good space explorer is also a team player.
Space exploration is a team effort.
It takes people from all sorts of backgrounds.
Working together towards a common goal?
It's not about individual glory.
It's about achieving something bigger than yourself.
Right. And finally, I think a good space explorer has a sense of wonder.
A sense of awe.
They appreciate the beauty and majesty of space.
They're inspired by the vastness and mystery of the universe.
Exactly. It's not just about the science and technology.
It's about the human spirit.
Our desire to explore and discover.
Well said. So, on that note, let's shift gears.
Okay.
What does the future hold for lunar exploration?
Exciting question. What would you investigate on the moon if you could land anywhere?
Good question. Those permanently shadowed craters have always fascinated me.
The ones at the lunar poles?
Exactly. They could hold so many secrets.
Maybe even signs of past or present life?
Imagine that. It would change how we think about the moon.
And the possibility of life beyond Earth.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
And thanks to pinpoint landing, we might finally be able to explore them.
We might.
It's incredible. What else is out there?
Ancient lava tubes, hidden craters, unusual geological formations.
So much to discover.
The possibilities are endless.
It makes you want to go to the moon yourself.
It does.
But not just a one-way trip.
Right. We need to bring those discoveries back to Earth.
Share them with everyone.
Exactly. Who knows? Maybe someday lunar tourism will be normal.
Like a trip to the Bahamas?
That would be amazing. A future where the moon is a place for discovery.
For exploration.
And even for fun.
It's a vision worth striving for.
It is. And missions like Chandrayaan-3 and SLIM are helping make it happen.
One step at a time.
They're paving the way for a new era of lunar exploration.
An era full of promise for humanity.
Absolutely. Speaking of promise,
Yes.
I want to leave our listeners with a thought.
Okay, go ahead.
The moon is a mirror.
Amir, how so?
It reflects our own potential,
Our ingenuity.
our ability to wonder.
I like that.
So when you look up at the moon,
That it's silvery glow.
remember that the boundaries of human achievement are limitless.
Just like the cosmos itself.
Exactly.
Beautifully said. And on that note, we say goodbye to our listener.
Until next time,
Keep looking up
keep exploring.
and keep dreaming big.
Huh.
It's amazing, isn't it?
What is?
How India and Japan are both exploring the moon.
Yeah, but with totally different styles.
Exactly. It's not just about the tech, it's about their unique approaches.
And what that says about their ambitions in space.
Right, like they're both working with the same ingredients,
The moon.
but they're cooking up totally different dishes.
Now that's an interesting way to put it.
India wants to understand the moon scientifically.
A comprehensive approach.
So they're creating a dish that's multi-layered.
Rich in detail and nuance.
I like that. And Japan is all about precision.
Elegant execution.
Like they're perfecting a single technique.
mastering it completely.
Makes you wonder how much of this comes from their history and culture.
That's a good point.
India has a long tradition of scientific inquiry,
Thousands of years of knowledge.
and they've made huge leaps in space technology lately.
They're definitely a force to be reckoned with.
They want to be major players in lunar exploration.
And they're proving it with Chandrayaan-3.
It's a symbol of their technological power and their dedication to science.
It's a message to the world.
They're not just catching up, they're leading the way.
Innovating and pushing boundaries.
Exactly. And Japan, with its culture of precision,
And technological mastery.
they're taking a more strategic approach.
focusing on key technologies.
like pinpoint landing.
The foundation for future lunar missions
SLIM embodies that Japanese excellence in engineering.
and their long-term vision for space.
It's not just about getting to the moon,
It's about staying there.
building a sustainable human presence.
And what's really cool
It's that.
is how these two different approaches actually work together.
They complement each other
India's scientific findings can help Japan's technology develop.
and vice versa. It's a perfect example of international collaboration.
It shows how working together can push space exploration forward.
I think it's a sign of something bigger happening.
Oh, what do you mean?
We're moving away from that old space race mentality
Competing against each other.
and embracing a more cooperative approach.
Working together for the good of humanity.
Exactly. As we explore the cosmos,
We're doing it as one species.
united by our curiosity.
And our desire to understand the universe.
That's a powerful thought.
It is. And as we wrap up our deep dive into this lunar showdown,
Let's remember, the real winners are all of us.
India, Japan, all of humanity.
These missions are inspiring a new generation,
They're showing us what's possible.
and they're creating a future.
Where the moon is a bustling hub of activity.
It's an exciting time to be alive.
To witness this new chapter in space exploration.
It really is. So, as we say goodbye to our listeners,
Okay.
I want to leave them with this thought. The moon is more than just a celestial object,
It's a symbol.
a canvas for our dreams,
A reflection of our ingenuity.
and a testament to our spirit of exploration.
So keep looking up.
Keep exploring.
Keep dreaming big.
Until next time, adieu.